Okay, this is going to be a quick video on how to write a yard work order for Mercedes-Benz. First off, you're going to get an email and it's going to be a job request, as you can see here. It's not always titled the same, but when you open it up you should see two files. One should be a list of VIN numbers that we need to go find and look at. And the other one will have this SMP in it, right there at the end. When you open it up, you should see the directions. Sometimes when you open it up, the view's a little wrong, so you need to change the view. But I'm going to flip over the camera so you can take a look at what it looks like on my computer. So this is what the report will look like. Just like that. So you'll open it up and this is what you're going to copy from mostly in order to write the work order. But for recording purposes, I'm going to do some of this on the tablet and some of it I'll do on the computer and show you as we do it. We have a practice website called Stage. We'll go to Stage in order to do this. That way we're not creating fake data into our live database. See, we're going to go to the main menu, and then we're going to click on Work Orders, and then you're going to select New. And it's going to make you log in, which is what I thought it was going to do. So you're going to log in to the actual website. You're going to click on Work Order, or the main menu up here in the top right hand corner. You're going to select on Work Orders, and then you're going to click New Work Order. Make sure before you start trying to write a new work order that it is a new work order. It's not an updated list for an old work order. After you get the screen brought up, the start date should be the production date you're working with. So if you're on third shift and it's after midnight and it's the 5th, then you should be selecting the 4th because that's your shift date. So make sure you get the correct start date. The service provider should auto-populate. The coordinator, that should be who you are, and then your customer, you need to select the appropriate customer. You click inside the box, start typing Mercedes, and you'll see it pop up. Make sure you select Mercedes-Benz US International Incorporated. There's other Mercedes in the live system that might populate. Make sure you get the correct one, Mercedes-Benz US International Incorporated. Then select your cost center. Your cost center for a yard work order. And remember, we're only covering yard work orders. So don't try to write any other type of work order using these instructions. You're going to always select the 111000 yard activities. The supplier, you're going to get the supplier by the form. So let's click over to my camera so you can see my computer screen. So here's the form. And right in the center of that form that they email you, where it says line, right there, over here it's got the supplier. Now this has an actual supplier. If the issue is because of like an assembly issue, you might see like trim 6 or final line 1 or something like that. If it says something like that, that's a Mercedes location. So it'll start out with MBUSI as the supplier. But let's go back to our form. Now, one thing I do want to point out is an actual supplier will have a supplier number. If it doesn't have a supplier number, do not just go by the name. It has to have the right supplier number. A lot of these suppliers supply multiple parts under different supplier numbers, and you must have the correct one. If they send you a form and it doesn't have the correct supplier number in it, then you need to send it back and ask for that supplier number. If it's a Mercedes location, it will not have the supplier number. So let's click back on our form. So you can see the second one down, our fourth, 1, 2, 3, right there is the correct one. If you click inside there and start typing, it'll take and start finding the one you actually want. But and if it is a Mercedes location, you start typing MBU and you see the Mercedes location start to populate. Make sure you select the correct one. It's very important because this is who the charges are going to end up going back to. But this just happens to be the right one, the correct supplier number. Please verify the supplier number. Select it. The requester, you're always going to start typing yard, and it's yard management. This is more or less a group of people. So whenever we write the work order, this group of people is going to all be notified that this work order has been written. The responsible person is the person who sent the email requesting the work be done. In this case, it was Tamika Brown. Make sure you select the right person. As you can see, I selected the wrong person, but always double check. Your plant with a Mercedes Yard campaign is always going to be Mercedes Yard. Your location will always be Yard. When you select the location, it is critical when you select the required number of associates, you put in 0. If you leave this blank or fail to put anything in there, then what will happen is that whenever you try to save it, it's going to throw an error and it's going to cause all kinds of issues. Also, when you're writing on a tablet or doing something, watch these check boxes. You don't accidentally check something you did not intend to check. But yes, do not leave the required associates empty. The clean build, it will throw an error if you leave the clean build blank. So we're going to put not needed in there. You may have to type it. In my case, I've been putting it in there so many times that it just auto-populates and gives me that option. But not needed will be the clean build for all yard campaigns. The part numbers, we always select 0, 0. And if you put 0, 0 on there twice, it'll auto-populate, and it's the top one. The 000-100% inspected. Select that one right there. We will scroll down, and the models involved will be the next thing we need to fill out. If you go back to your form, let's look at our form. As you can see, the models involved are right there. On the right hand side says model X167. There may be multiple models involved. Make sure when you select the models involved, you get the entire combination. So we're going to select on models, and it is the X167. And you start typing and it'll pop up. If there's multiples in there, like 3 or 4 different models, they're in alphabetical order. So start with the lowest one. So if it was an A123 and an X167, if you put the A in, it would start to bring it up and get the correct models combination. Your problem statement. You can get your problem statement by looking at the form. So let's go back to the form, and as you can see right here, real big, it'll say usually right there, contamination of 1L carpet near center console. If you also look right down here, what surface contamination on 1L carpet. So either one of those are going to tell you what the actual issue is. So let's go back to our work order. And for our problem statement, we're just going to put, if we were doing this on the computer, you could just copy and paste. So we'd put contamination of carpet. We'll just put that for right now. Contamination of carpet. There we go. Severity rating, unless if we know that it is very, very severe, typically we'll just give it a 4. If it's a safety related topic, then you would make it a 1. Contamination or containment type, there's 3 options. If you're only going to inspect it, it's inspection only. If you're reworking all of them, it's 100% rework. If you're inspecting and then based on if it needs rework or not, you're reworking, it'd be inspection/rework. In yard campaigns, most of the time it's inspection only, but at times we do some rework. The defect types, so this is a contamination issue. It could be a dent issue, a color issue, something like that. Just start typing in what the issue is and see what pops up. So there's contamination. So that's our defect type. So if we have a defect, the defect it'll be because of contamination. Your tools needed, if you look at your form, it typically tells you right down here, right there, what tools are needed. In this case, we don't need no tools. If you need tools, start typing the tool in there and see what pops up. Select the closest tool that you can find. You can leave the tools blank if there's no tools. The fallout notification should be a count, so leave that the same. And the threshold should be 1. That way, every time they find a defect, it will notify us. Then we have the pictures. In the form they send us, they typically give us pictures. You can copy the picture, and then you take the copy of the picture and you do what's called tagging it. Then you can write inside of it and say, oh, it's an okay picture, it's a not okay picture. Draw some arrows to identify where the issue is. Do anything you can to make that picture as presentable to the inspector so they can look at it and identify what the actual issue is in the picture. After you do that, you'll upload the picture. So let's go back to the work order. To upload the picture to this work order, you'll click Choose File. And I don't have the picture on here, but you just pick the picture. Whatever, after you get the picture on your computer properly formatted, you would pick the picture. It might be an okay picture and a not okay picture and a certification picture. Place the pictures where they should go. Right now I'm just picking pictures so that we can move forward. With yard campaigns, we do not do a clean build. So typically speaking, we go down to the work instructions section, step-by-step instructions, and we're going to delete this whole section for clean builds. The easiest way of doing that is just highlight it and hit delete or cut. The warehouse, we're not doing it in the warehouse, so we can delete that section. Sometimes you can leave the line section, or you can just delete the whole section out. It's up to you how you want to do this. But you pretty much want to just delete everything down till you get to the bottom. You want to leave this last statement. And the last statement says, by signing this document, you confirm that training was provided. It basically says they need to train us on what to do. They can't just throw this over the fence. So now we're ready to start. So to write this work order, we're going to take it and start with the yard management ID number. So let me show you what that is. So if we go back to our form, up in the right hand corner, it's the yard management ID number, 20.02.05.003. That needs to be the first number in the work order. What that is it's a number that they can search for to find this work order and correlate their work order number to our work order number. So I forget what that number is exactly, but I think it was like 20.05.02.003. you can copy that number right out of that field and paste it here so there's no mistakes. The other thing you're going to do then is take and put in instructions. So here's our instructions. What are we going to do? Well, let's take a look here. If we go back to our form, it says right there, open 1L door, check carpet by center console, record results, close door. So I'm not going to type all that. Normally you could just copy that and paste it right in here. So 1, open door, to check the carpet by the center console, 3, record findings, and 4, close the door. So that's the directions right there. Then you're going to come down here to the bottom and hit save. If everything is filled out properly, hopefully we'll have no errors, and we'll get a work order number. So we got our work order numbers and we don't have any errors. So this is our work order number. So now that we have our work order number and we have our work order started, we click on the 3 dashes at the top. We can go to work orders and view all. So here's the work order. It should be the last one you wrote. So there it is. Click on it. Always verify it is the correct one, because someone else might have wrote a work order after yours or saved it after you. So just always verify it. The first thing you're going to do is click on details. You can get rid of all of these. Comments, you can type in like it's 100% rework. You can type in what it is, 100% inspection. And you can type in something like carpet contamination. And then there's this target. So if you click on target, if you go to back to our form here, let me pull up our form. So if we pull up our form again and we go back here, up in the top left corner, you see a 50 there. So that's our target. So our target, we'll go back to our work order. Our target needs to be 50. Then hit update details so that it saves, and it'll kick you back out to the original opening page of work orders. Then you're going to go to actions. You're going to update the work order status to active. Once you click on that, it'll kick you back to the front page. So again, you'd go actions, update work order status, and you're going to select active. Be very careful. If you select stop notice received or closed, then the work order is done for and nobody can do anything with it until you select active. Make sure you select active. After you do that, if you have a video that needs to be attached, you can do that through the videos right there. Add a request is something we need to do now. We're going to put in just put an NA as the request number. The start date, we'll put the 5th. The end date, we'll put as the 7th, so we'll give ourselves 2 days. Make sure you leave the stop date empty. Do not put anything there. And then hit create work order request. After you do that, you can see the field's empty. Next, you're going to hit submit for approval. By hitting submit for approval, that's going to send an email to the requester and the person responsible, asking them to please approve this work order. The other thing we're going to do is whenever we go back to the front page here, where it says work order, we're going to go down to where it says incident number, and we're going to put that right there in the top right hand corner where it says yard management ID. We're going to put that number right in the incident number. So it is 20.02.05.003. After you type it there, it will not save until you go down to the very bottom and update it without revision. Be careful, do not hit update with revision. It's the one on the right, update without revision. Give it a second, you can see the line will work. After it does that, it'll kick you back out. Wait till it's completely done and verify that it did save the incident number in that field. Okay, so the work order is now created and we're ready to do data. Now, to do data, I'm going to have to show you, we're going to have to upload the list, the VIN list. So let me show you how to do it. We're going to show you on the computer, so this is going to be done through the camera. So we go back to our computer here, and we're going to click on Inspections and Labor. We're going to go to Production. We're going to go down to Vehicle Inspection Entry. And we're going to put the work order number 33732 is the work order number. We're going to hit create. So we're going to put it in like that. And we're going to hit create new vehicle inspection entry, batch entry. As you can see, there's no batch entry here for the inspector to work on. So we hit new, this little button right here, we're going to click on it. And it's going to bring up our option to upload the VIN list. So we start out with yard for Mercedes yard for the location. The part, we always said is going to be the 000 part number. The date, so if you go over here to your right, you select that little down arrow right there. If you do that, over here it'll bring up a date and you can select today's date. Remember, if you're on third shift and it's after midnight, make sure you roll it back a day. Your shift is going to be whatever shift you're working on, and then we're going to choose the file. So when we choose the file, we're going to come up, and right here we're going to our downloads. I happen to download it. There it is. It's the top one. I'm going to double click it, and that's going to put it right there. And then I'm going to hit create inspection batch upload. So I click on that. Now all of a sudden, there it is. Here's what the inspector can work on. It says here status pending. It's not going to change unless you refresh your page. So we hit refresh our page. And when we refresh our page, it says awaiting review. You hit view. And here it is. And if you looked at our batch upload, this parking location was missing. So the inspector can come to this page. And the way they're going to come to this page, let's go over here to the left side. Oop, sorry. Let's go over here to the left side. And the inspector, this vehicle inspection entry, when they click on it, they can put the work order number in here. 33732. They will click here. They're going to see this, and then they'll be able to click right here for view. And then they can hit this button down here. This button down here is edit status. So they hit that, and then they can go do their inspection, and they can select the status of that vehicle. If it's okay, not found, or unable to check, they will select that status for each vehicle as they try to find it. The list does update, so if two people's working on the list and one person changes the status, then as soon as the other person refreshes, they can see the update. But this is how you create the full work order so that you can begin inspecting. Thank you. Bye.